Hello and welcome back to Be Her with Shalon. I'm Shalon, and I wanted to talk to everybody today about uh we kind of touched base on this before actually. We about the way women's bodies respond when they're not in the right relationship. Okay. I had a client that was in my chair today, and the first thing, because I was like, hey, how's it going, what's going on, whatever else, right? The first thing she said to me when she walked in, she was like, can you believe that all it took for me to lose weight was to break up with my ex-partner? And I kind of had to giggle because I knew from all of her visits and the way she talked and everything else that like this was not the person for her. Okay. And I know from past experiences that when we're in a connection where we don't feel safe, where we don't feel secure, where we don't feel in our divine feminine energy, that it shows in our body. We put on more weight for safety to protect ourselves. We don't take as good a care of ourselves because we are, one thing she said to me, she was spent too much time trying to accommodate him. And I was like, girl, what are we doing? Why are we accommodating him? Why? I can understand wanting to make time for your partner so that you can spend time together and that kind of stuff. But she was literally like disrupting her sleep schedule and rearranging because he's a night owl. So she's trying to stay up late and trying to still get up early and do all of the things. As the divine feminine, as the feminine in general, like you need more rest. We do. Our feminine bodies need more rest than men do. It's a given. It is a fact. Okay, I actually have talked about this another time about how actually like the men's 24-hour clocks are equivalent to women's like 28-day cycle. You can't compete with that. And women are meant to compete with that in the world with other men. And they wonder why women are like depleted and tired and burnt out and all of the things because our bodies were not meant to function like that. They really weren't. And so we kind of had a little chuckle about the whole like, I kind of, I'm not surprised that you've lost weight and you look amazing and you're happy and all the things, right? But you can tell when a woman is being loved right in a relationship. You can tell when a woman is being treated right in a relationship. She will glow. She will thrive. She will be radiant. She will be all of the things. And you know what? When a divine feminine is in her power, in a connection, she makes everything else around her magnificent as well. Her masculine knows that when he treats her right, that his life is going to like skyrocket as well. What is that saying that they used to have? Maybe they still say it. I don't know. I don't. But it was about like a good woman on a successful man's arm. Yeah, for a reason. For a reason. Because a good man knows that when he treats his woman right, that his life will be successful as well, that it's going to like radiate to the world around him. Okay. And like as the divine feminine, you need to take care of yourself in general. When you're tired, when you're depleted, nothing else in your life is thriving. When you're angry and upset and burned out, nothing is working. It's because you need to take a step back and take care of you. And we were never trained, is the word that's coming up right now. Trained. We were never taught that it's okay, to take care of ourselves, that we don't have to self-sacrifice. One of the, I was just thinking about this the other day. One of the best things that I probably could have shown my girls was self-care. As women, they know when to listen to their body, to take time out for themselves, to when they need a self-care day, when they need a rest day, when they need all of these things, because I showed them that. Because I showed them that. My mom didn't show me that. My mom taught me to work hard. And I'm sure maybe there's lots of other people out here who can resonate with this and who are like burning the candle at both ends all the time and are just like tired and angry and resentful because like you're feeling unappreciated and all of the things, right? My kids know self-care. They also know how to work, but they know that when they need to take care of themselves, that that is first and foremost. And I am grateful that I have shown them and taught them that. Because you know what? When you're burnt out and you're depleted, and I've been there and I walk that fine line like a drunken sailor sometimes, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I know when I need to take a step back and take care of myself because nothing is flowing. Nothing's flowing in my life, nothing's flowing in my business. And when that is happening, it is because you're putting all of your time and energy into the things that actually like aren't serving and aren't helping you. Okay? And you can't give from an empty cup. I've talked about this before. We cannot give from an empty cup. Okay? When me holding my mug right now. We need to refill ourselves so that our cup is full. Anything that is in the cup is for us. Anything that is overflowing is for everybody else around us, right? So if you're giving from an empty cup all the time and you're playing that like deplete, refill, deplete, refill, deplete, refill game, it's not going to last for very long. It's not going to be lasting for very long. And that's when it's like really, really important to take time out and to like reevaluate, is this even serving me anymore? Is this the way that I've been living life even serving me anymore? What changes do I need to make moving forward? What changes do I need to make? And if you're overgiving to a partner and if you're accommodating a partner, there's some deep inventory that needs to happen there as to if this is the right partner for you. Or there needs to be a really big conversation had with yourself and your partner. Because are you overgiving and self-sacrificing and all of the things because you believe that your worthiness and your deservingness and all of those things is like going to be like you have to prove yourself in order to keep your partner, because if you have to prove yourself in order to keep your partner, you're not with the right partner, right? And men will let you give to them. They will let you burn yourself out. They will let you overgive. They will let you, sorry, the wrong men will let you do all of those things. Okay? The right man will tell you, sit down and let me take care of it. Okay? Those are probably the best words I could ever hear from a man is, I got it. I got it. If there's any men listening, no, I'm just kidding. But it's true. When you're a busy woman and you have a lot of things doing and you're trying to like build your empire and take care of the kids, especially as solo moms, if there is actually a man that is like willing to step in and say, I have got this, I will help you, I will take care of this, then like that is something to be said about that man. Definitely, for sure. And we actually should probably touch base on this and the fact that there's like so many women out there that are running around saying there is no good man, no man will ever do this, that must be a fairy tale, da 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 da. If that's what you continuously focus on, that is what you are going to get. Okay? That is literally what you're going to get, because you're running around with blinders on saying that there's no good men and that all the good ones are taken and whatever else, okay? You don't want to put that out into the universe. You do not want to put that out into the universe. You also don't want to be running around chasing men, hoping that you're going to find a good one someday, or grasping onto them like, like you need to have a partner in general when you can come towards like dating and everything, centered and grounded within yourself and sure of what you want and don't want, then it's very easy to weed out the ones that are not going to serve, like not serve you, but like are not going to be good for you, basically. Okay. um I actually want to touch base on the whole online dating thing in general, and the fact that I said I would never do online dating. And I was convinced to try it, to give it a try. What would hurt? It was the worst 5 months of my life. Like, it was so, the energy was not good. Like, it is, I don't know how women do it. I really don't know how women do it. I was exhausted. My energy was depleted because I felt like I was ripped in a million different directions, trying to entertain 4 or 5 men, talking to them at a time, trying to get to know them, and then, like, talk about being so many things. So many things. Like, honestly, get used to rejection, get used to being lied to, get used to being manipulated. Like, I know there are some people who are very lucky in online dating and like good for you, but there's more negative stories than not. Why do you think we have apps like Are We Dating the Same Guy? Like, online dating was probably one of the worst things, and I literally just saw 11:11 on my timer, that happened to the world in general, because it's just like creates the illusion, I guess it is, that like people are just indisposable, like that they don't matter, that you can just swipe right to the next one and it'll all be okay, as opposed to like forming actual connections with the person. And lots of these people on these dating apps haven't done the inside work. They'll never do the inside work. They don't want to do the inside work. I met a couple of men who thought they were very enlightened to divine masculine energy, and I can tell you by the time I was had finished our experience together, that I think they had a very different perspective on what a divine masculine was actually supposed to be like. Because I don't pussyfoot around. I don't like. I don't know. I have to be truthful. I can't not like I can't pretend. I'm gonna tell you like it is, and that's just how it is. You can take it or leave it. I don't care. And if they want to change, great. If they don't want to, whatever, that's on them. But there is a lot of men that I've had some pretty intense, deep discussions with after we've decided to part ways, and I can tell you that they had a very awakening experience. Let's just put it that way. But it's like, it's not a good environment. And I understand that, like, when our parents and our grandparents and everything were dating, that courting was a thing. Courting was a thing. But I feel like women also settled because that's what society portrayed. Okay, they needed a man in order to survive. We don't need men in order to survive financially anymore. As women, we can build our own empires, we can make our own money, we can do all of those things. Men need to show up differently for us now, and that's where they're struggling. That's where they're having a really hard time, is being able to show up emotionally, mentally, maturely in general. Okay. Honestly, because they can't even be honest with themselves. If they can't be honest with themselves, how are they going to be honest with you? They can't. They can't, because they have no clue. Nobody's ever taught them. It's technically, some of them, it's not their fault. Nobody's ever taught them. Okay. When you're doing your own work, we do a lot of like inner child healing. We do a lot of like mother father wounding, that kind of stuff, when I'm doing work with my clients. And especially in Self Love Queen Academy, we dive really, really deep into that. But like, there's not as many men willing to do this work. And if they are willing to do it, then like that's a whole other situation, and like, good for them. Because just because you meet a man, I believe, who is not like necessarily 100% in their divine masculine energy, if you two are willing to like grow and evolve together, then that's a different story. But when there's only one person doing the work all the time, it's very easy to outgrow your partner. Very easy. I've done it so many times where I entered into a connection and we connected like quite a bit, like at the beginning, and I continuously do my work and I like on myself internally, and I go to retreats and I go to this and I go to that. And it's like every time I go away to a retreat, when I come home, I will have up leveled, and that means losing people. It does. That means letting go of connections that are no longer serving me because those people do not do the work. And there's nothing said to them. Like, it's not malicious. It's not as a bad thing. I wish them well. I send them so much love and appreciation and all of that kind of stuff. But like we said before, a reason, a season, and a lifetime, right? Not that you can't still connect with people, but depending on what you're doing with your life, in your life, where you want to go and everything else, like, what is that saying? You are the equivalent of the 5 people that you spend your time and energy on. So the way those people are living their lives, like, is that where you want to be, or like where do you want to go with your life, right? And I'm not saying that you have to cut off people all the time either, but it's like, have that energetic boundary with them. If you don't want to cut off the relationship, then have that energetic boundary with them. Okay, I was talking to somebody and they said that they hadn't really they hadn't seen their partner in like months. And then they just messaged them out of the blue and they're like, I'm coming over tonight. And she's like, what? No, we're not even together. We're not even together. There's not a lot of clarity going on there if they thought that you're still together. Or they're just testing the waters to see how good your boundaries are or not. As the divine feminine, you need to be very clear and very set in your boundaries, and you need to explain that to people point blank. Men, whatever. Point blank. This is where I stand on this. I actually had a boyfriend that I dated, and he said to me, he's like, you have too high of expectations. And I just said to him, I was like, they are no longer expectations. They are standards. Standards. If you can't meet them, that's not my problem. Then I am not the woman for you. And I can tell you, everybody, standards are going to be different. They're going to be different. But I know myself personally that I have settled in a lot of relationships that I am not going to be settling anymore. I said, I wrote the book on it. Okay. Like, I have dealt with enough heartbreak that, like, I wrote the book on it. I'm an expert in healing from heartbreak. And I've also helped a lot of other people do it too, right? Because you like up level your life. After every heartbreak, you up level your life. You really do. And it's just the evolution of you is really what it is. It's the evolution of you. When you can take a step back and look at the bigger picture view of everything, okay? Like a bird's eye view, an eagle eye view, you can see how each relationship served you. And if you're continuously like attracting the same people, then there's something deeper rooted that you're not getting to, okay? And that's the work that I do with my clients, okay? And I'm actually just going to share, because I think a lot of people think that I only do group work, and I don't. I do one-on-one coaching as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, like, by all means, please reach out to me and I can help you with that. There's lots of clients that I've worked through in helping them with their inner healing and leveling up in their relationships and deciding whether it was a good thing or a bad thing to stay, or not a bad thing, but a good thing to like leave the relationship, or like to decide to leave a relationship, right? Like, I never encourage anybody to leave a relationship unless they were 100% certain that that is what they need to do. And it's not an easy thing. Like, we don't just wake up one day and be like, you know what? I think today is a good day to blow up my relationship. Today's a good day. We never do that. That's not it. That we have exhausted all possibilities within that relationship before we decide that we're just going to blow up our lives, right? Nobody decides that, but it's just things that happen, and it's not a bad thing. It's not. When you can look at the bigger picture, you can see that we have these, like, as spiritual beings coming here for this human experience. This is where I was going to get to before. Sorry, everybody, derailed. That we have these energetic contracts with these people before we come here. Okay. We decided, the both of us as a soul together, that we were going to have this experience so that we could learn this, that, and the other from that to help our soul's evolution. Okay. And if you look at it that way, as the world, as the earth being a school and a learning lesson for yourself, that's why your soul came here. Okay. To learn all of these things so that we can up level in our lives, in our growth, in our purpose, in everything, in our relationships, in our connections, learning how to interact with other people. Okay. When you can look at it from that perspective, then it's not such a hit to your ego, is what it really is. And then you can just thank that person for that experience, thank them for that learning lesson, thank them for being the villain in your story. I don't know if you've heard me talk about that before, being so that you're the villain in everybody's story, and not everybody's story, in somebody's story. You're the villain in somebody's story. I'm sure, like, lots of the men that I ended up talking to and having parting ways with or whatever would think that I was the villain in their story, and that's okay. That's okay. They can feel that way. I don't care. I'm here to live my life for me. I'm here to live my journey and to learn my lessons. And I hope that I was able to help them learn a lesson in that experience as well. Right? And we need to touch base on having, like, more balance within our relationships and more balance within our connections. Okay. And what that looks like to you, when you can get really clear on your morals and your values and what is really important to you, and to have that discussion with your partner, then everything will flow easier when you can get on the same page with things. And people should, like, decide whether somebody's really for you or not a lot sooner in the connection when you have had those discussions. I think when we first meet somebody, that we're so wrapped up in the, like, the euphoria of all of it, the euphoria of being in love, of being able to give love to somebody else. Like, I don't know about you, but, like, I love love. Like, I do. I love being in a relationship. I love being in a connection. I love the interaction, and I love all of those things that come with it. But there's all the other things that need to be discussed and talked about too. And sometimes I think they go to the wayside, and that's where there's, like, miscommunication, and there's, like, feeling of being deceived and not being honest and all of those things, when really, like, when I look back now, I'm like, there's a lot of times that I should have seen the writing on the wall, and I did not, because I did not have that conversation. And when it came down to having that conversation, the other person was very blindsided because we were on two separate pages. So open, honest communication is going to help both of you be on the same page or not. And then it'll save you so much time and effort and whatever else, so that you can also, so you can find your person if that's what you want to do, but so they're able to as well. Right? Relationships can be beautiful things. I don't ever want, sometimes I think people think that I'm just, like, anti-relationships. No, not at all. I think relationships can be beautiful things, but I think the right relationships can be beautiful things. I've seen a lot of people in my day who stayed in relationships that never should have. Never. That's their choice. Always their choice. But from an outside perspective, you can see how toxic those relationships are. Some of them are very, very close people that I know, and no judgment at all. But it just, and going back to our mothers and our grandparents and everything else, they had to stay in those relationships to survive. They don't know how to survive outside of that relationship. So of course they're going to stay. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, they're going to stay. And if you don't know, if you've heard me talk about the bread analogy before, about how if you've never actually truly received the love that you deserved, then you're going to look at any little piece of attention or anything like that as the best thing ever. And that's where we end up settling for scraps. That's when we don't actually know what our worth and our value is when we're settling for love. And it's not really love, but we don't know any different. And I feel like that's what I was doing for a really long time as well, right? Like just like thinking that attention was love, but it wasn't. And so then when anybody shows you any little piece of like kindness or care or compassion or just attention in general, you think it's like way bigger than what it is. Way, way bigger than what it is. When really it's like the bare minimum. And women, we don't want to be settling for the bare minimum anymore. We don't. Not when we are meant to be on the pedestal. Not when you can put yourself on the pedestal and give yourself the love and kindness and care and compassion and attention and all of the things that you need. If somebody cannot give me more than what I can give myself, they're not my person. And not that I'm putting that pressure onto them. I would never force anybody to be that for me. I would want them to want to be that for me, right? Because I would be that for them. That's where that balance comes back into play. I know that I overgive in my connections all the time, all the time, all the time. And so lots of times I have to pull back my energy. And when I pull back my energy, they notice 100%. Because you need to take a deep inventory and be like, is this actually serving me? And you'll notice actually the more that you focus on yourself, the more magnetic to connections you become. I always joke. I've actually had relationships that I was in literally show up on my doorstep, which is really funny because I joke about that, that they're going to have to show up on my doorstep. They have. Like, they didn't last, but they have. So obviously you need to get a little bit more, descriptive about it in my manifesting that I'm doing. But the most important relationship that you can have is with yourself. Every other relationship is a reflection of that. So when you can put yourself on that pedestal and you are solid and certain within yourself, whatever happens around you doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're unwavering in who you are, what you desire, what you deserve, right? And in how you show up in the world. Truthfully, honestly, unapologetically. That's what I want for you. That's what has taken me a really, really long time for myself. That's what I help other women do. And some days I still struggle with that. I will 100% admit that. There are some days that I still struggle with that because I'm still human and I'm still living this experience and it's not 100% perfect all the time. But that's what I want for other women. To be so true and so certain in who they are and what they want in this world and to not settle for less than they deserve. So if any of this resonated with you and you feel called to work with me in any sort of way, there's going to be links for everything in the description below. But one of the easiest ways that you can work with me is through the Sacred Reset. And this is a subscription-based group that you can pick and choose on your own, whether you want to, or how long you want to partake in it. But we have guided meditations in there. In February, we're going to be focusing on love, relationships, self-love. We're going to be doing heart healing. We're going to be doing that inner connection with yourself. We have a 7-day reset to reset your connection in your relationship with yourself. So if there is any way that you want to reach out to work with me, I'll have all the links in the description below, but I invite you to join us for the Sacred Reset. If you want any more information, please reach out to me, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.